Hello, my name is Jozefa Fawcett and I'm a lecturer at Anglia Ruskin University in London. And if this coming trimester was normal, you'd be starting your module coming through the doors of one of these two London campus buildings. But as it turns out, you'll be accessing your module and your tutor and everyone else on the course via your laptop, device, whatever, and at home. But don't worry, this short film is designed to help you understand how to get the best from your remote learning. So we're going to look at some remote learning rules, and I've packaged them into a series of things. So the first set is all about the human stuff. Then we'll look at the rules around the techie stuff, the healthy stuff, the teaching stuff, and then look at where you find your reading material on CoreText. So let's get started. First of all, the remote learning from the human stuff perspective is really do try to arrive on time and attend all the online classes that you can. Some of you are working, so I know that this is going to be difficult, but please do try because you learn so much from being there in person. And some of the material is recorded and some is live, but more of that a little bit later on. Try and keep your mobiles and your tablets on silent mode unless your tutor asks you otherwise. And do your best to participate lots. You learn so much more that way. When it comes to your fellow students, please show them respect, which means when they're talking, listen to them, because when you're talking, you'd like them to listen to you too, and it works both ways. And please do keep focused. There will be breaks all along the way, and the tutors like myself have spent some time putting together a blended options that will help you learn in the best way possible. Let's look at the techie stuff. Now, we use a platform called Zoom. In fact, I think the whole world is using Zoom at the moment. And if you've never used it before, please try and learn how to connect to it before the start of your class. Find yourself a nice quiet place to sit and listen with as little background noise as possible. That means please don't have the washing machine and tumble dryer on in the background. Though even if you do, we can mute your mic to make sure that we don't hear that whirring sound. It can be really quite distracting. If you have a problem with connection to the internet, maybe your Wi-Fi is playing up, all of ours does at times, you might need an Ethernet cable. This connects your device to the router, and it makes for a much faster, cleaner connection. So if you're finding any kind of lag between what's being said, what you're seeing on screen, then maybe get yourself an Ethernet cable. They're not very expensive and you can get them from Amazon. Now, the rule for techie stuff is to try and use earbuds where you can, or headphones, to prevent any kind of echo. It's really difficult to understand everything when you can't hear it properly. So earbuds are usually quite a good idea. And this one's my favorite. Can you please position your webcam eye level? Now, when you use a laptop, for example, the webcam is in the lid. And when you push the lid back like that, the webcam sort of looks up your chin and up your nose, forehead, and lots of ceiling and lots of lights. So not a very pretty look. So if you can, just put your laptop on a box or two so that it's more eye level. And this last tip is about where you look. Now, I'm looking directly at you through the screen. But if I'm like this and I'm reading and I'm not really looking at you but talking, have you disengaged yet? You probably have. When you're talking, try and look straight into the camera lens. And when others are talking, maybe on a live Zoom webinar, yes, look at them, look down. But when you're talking, try and remember. And trust me, we all forget. I forget at times too. Let's look at remote learning from a healthy stuff perspective. And the first thing to say to you is when you are learning online, it's easy to get tired. So take regular breaks to rest your eyes and look at the setting on your computer. If you open this tab at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you can turn your night light on. Now, you can also do it through the settings as well. And when you turn the night light on, it reduces that harsh blue tint that comes out of your screen. And that can really cause an awful lot of eye strain. In fact, if you go into settings, you can even change the color of that night light. I like a fairly muted, peachy, blushy color. It's very soft and gentle on my eyes. The other thing is to drink plenty of water. Here's one I prepared earlier. It really is important because when you're talking a lot, when you're listening a lot, it's really easy to get dehydrated. So make sure you've got plenty of water and you're drinking regularly. The next thing is about sitting comfortably. You don't want to be sitting hunched over the computer like that and it's very easy to do, particularly if you're not sitting at a desk and you're sitting on your sofa or in a chair and you've got the laptop where it should be on your lap and you're hunched over it. You get really bad neck strain and shoulders. So sit comfortably, chin up, shoulders back as much as you can. Make sure your core is straight. If you're comfortable and not in pain, it's much easier to learn. And when you can, in between the breaks, and maybe even not in between the breaks if you need it, stand up as often as you can and stretch your legs and stretch your arms. Now, one final thing about healthy stuff, and that is sleep. When you're doing lots of online learning, some of you do this late at night. Try and limit your screen time just before you go to bed. It'll make for much nicer sleep. Okay, remote learning rules about teaching stuff. Now, myself and my fellow tutors spend a lot of time putting material into the VLE. So check it out twice a week to see any new things that have been uploaded. And after your classes and your recordings, review the slide decks and recordings again and make notes, either electronic notes, a notepad, or good old pen and paper, whichever suits you, but do make some notes. And because we spend so much time looking for learning material for you and resources, make full use of them and have some kind of study plan so that you don't become overwhelmed. For the last few trimesters, I've been telling my students to create a study plan. Now, I tell them this in week 1. I remind them about it in weeks 2, 3, 4. I stop reminding them after that. And then by the time we get to weeks 11 and 12, I say, have you done it? And maybe 50% have, and others go, yeah, I will. It's a bit late by then. The thing with a study plan is that you can put a very simple process in place that keeps you on top of all of your study. Obviously, I'm interested just in my module, but you're interested in all of the modules that you study. So please make sure that you have some kind of plan that keeps you on top of things. There's a very fine line between pressure and stress. And when you become overwhelmed, you feel the pressure. And when you have too much pressure and you feel the stress, the overwhelm takes over. By having a study plan, you stay in control. And that's one of the best pieces of advice I can give you. Just ask any of my students from last trimester if you bump into them in Farringdon or you know them that have studied with me. They'll say, yeah, Jozefa's always on about this and we wish we'd listened. So I'll give you this as a tip right from the beginning. Okay. How do we teach you? So there are many different remote learning formats, but most of my tutor colleagues and myself follow roughly this pattern as well. A few variations because we're each a little bit different. So there'll be some pre-recorded videos. There'll be screen share lectures. I love those because I see some of my colleagues writing on graphic tablets and iPads, and you can see them writing on the screen live. And for some topics, it's absolutely perfect. You'll love it. And it has made me think I need to get myself a graphics tablet to do the same. There'll be presentation lectures. That's what this is. And there'll be live webinars where you can get everyone together and chat. Now, the segments are anything between 30 and 45 minutes. Some are a little shorter, some are a little longer. There'll be self-directed learning where you have to take charge of what you're studying and spend time outside of the classes to learn some more. There'll be live Zoom sessions, which are often discussions, or they're the lecture live online. They're good fun because you can interact with the tutor and ask questions. Then, of course, there's your reading in CoreText. So let me say this carefully because I get tongue-tied when I get to this point. Your core textbook is on the platform called CoreText. Don't ask me to say that again. So make sure you can get access to it. And if you can't, ring the university and ask for the iCentre, and they'll give you some instructions as to how you can get hold of it. You absolutely must have this before your first remote class. So make sure you get access to it. Then finally, we have a chat room. Now, it's a type chat room, not unlike any social media type chat room, but it's dedicated for your program. It's on the VLE, and some of your lecturers use that too. I know I do, and I tell my students when I'm going to be there live, and they can ask questions. So there are loads of different ways that you can access the learning during this trimester. Now, one of the things you might want to do is find out a little bit more about your tutor. So if you go to this website, which is obviously the Anglia Ruskin website for London, and it says about us and academic staff, and then you scroll down, what you'll see is a wonderful array of all of us. Don't we look lovely? Now, and yes, if you look closely, you can find me amongst all of them. Now, if you click on our names on the live website, you'll get information about who we are and what we do and where we've been and what we teach. And sometimes it's really nice. You know, we learn about you. It's nice for you to learn about us and our background, because you'll understand better why we can bring you such a wide variety of knowledge and expertise based on our background. So do check us out. Now, I mentioned about CoreText being on CoreText. I did say I wouldn't say that again, didn't I? So this is CoreText. It's a platform that we use for your module handbooks, and it underpins the whole module and covers theories and concepts, and you can get access to it from any device. So whether that happens to be your desktop or your laptop or your tablet or your mobile phone, it's accessible on all because it is responsive to the different formats. I would say, though, that even though you can read it on your mobile, because the screen is so small and it does adapt and is mobile responsive, you're probably better to be on a tablet or a laptop or a full screen device because it's easier to read. And I mentioned before about the eye strain. The other thing you do need to do is create some kind of reading plan. But if you're putting in place your study plan that I told you about before, then just insert when you could do the reading as well. My advice is little and often, not cramming 5 minutes before the class. So let's talk about the class and what you have to do before your first remote class. Check the topics in your whole module. Look at all of them in detail. They're all on the VLE. And do some desktop research so that you can be prepared. And that preparation includes maybe questions. While you're with your tutor online, it is a really good idea to have some questions ready. Yes, you can use lots of the other mechanisms to ask questions, but if you can do it as part of a group, believe you me, when you ask a question, someone else in the group is going, oh, thank goodness they asked that. I really wanted to know, but didn't want to feel silly asking it. So make sure you prepare questions and read around the topic as much as you can to get a wide perspective. Now, there's a danger that you might feel that learning online, you feel very alone, but you don't need to. There are lots of ways for you to connect with the others on your course, and that's usually through either our Facebook group, WhatsApp, Skype. Do make contact with everybody and support each other. This is both a challenging trimester, but an incredibly exciting one too. And if you follow some of my rules and watch this film again, just to remind yourself, you will have a superb learning experience and won't feel compromised with what you're getting in any way at all. I hope you enjoy this trimester. Have fun and happy learning.